So we haven't even hit spring ball yet. You all know what's going down. We're getting the first set of Vegas odds for win totals. Fanduel decided they want to drop a bomb for us early this week, and boy, is it a doozy. So of course we got to dive in and talk about what these numbers look like, especially for all these teams in the SEC, because when I saw these numbers, your boy got a little shocked. But it's all right, because yeah, it's going to be an interesting first year in the SEC with the big expansion. So let's dive into these numbers. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. Y'all know what it is. If you like the content here, please hit that like button. If you're new to our channel, subscribe. Love to have you join this place of college football fandom, as we're talking a lot of OU football and college football in general, and of course having a blast doing it. But let's dive right into the numbers from the SEC win totals that came down the line. So pop these bad boys on the screen for you all right now. Let's look at it. All right, first and foremost, 2024 numbers came down. FanDuel dropped it, as I mentioned. These are the win totals that we're seeing here, right? You got Georgia at 10.5, with Texas right next to them at 10.5. So I guess FanDuel thinks Texas is going to run things. Kind of weird. There's a lot to talk about in the package there. But you got LSU behind them with Missouri and Ole Miss all at 9.5, and Alabama. Kind of interesting. Then you got Tennessee, Texas A&M at 8.5. Then, of course, Auburn, Oklahoma at 7.5, Kentucky at 6.5, Arkansas at 5.5 with Florida and South Carolina, Mississippi State 4.5, and of course Vanderbilt is, per the norm, in the place that they always is, at the bottom at 2.5. So when I saw these numbers, I was of course intrigued. Like, really? So this is what we're doing already, right? We're already hitting folks with the, oh, I don't believe that Oklahoma and the Sooners have a chance in the SEC. Texas is going to walk in there and be the best. They're going to walk in and run things. And I had to, of course, I stopped myself because I was going to lose my mind. But at the same time, as a Sooner fan, I'm like, I'm not going to be too much of a homer. I'm going to look at this and really dissect what they think in this situation. And so when I saw the number at 7.5 for Oklahoma, I chuckled. At it. And so I was like, all right, let me go see what, FanDuel as well as, DraftKings, which DraftKings is the one that dropped it this time last year. Actually dropped it in May of last year, but I digress. What did they think about these teams in the SEC last year? And so I'm going to put that graphic up in a minute. But before I do that, the one thing I want to keep in mind here is last year, the DraftKings, everyone said Oklahoma was at 9.5, Texas at 9.5. They were at the tops, right? And granted, both of them ended up winning more than 9.5 games. So I took that bet, made some money on it, and as I anticipated that to actually happen. But I think this is what was interesting to me. Oklahoma this year is rated, I think they have like the number 2 or 4 rated toughest schedule this coming season. So everyone thinks that Oklahoma's schedule is going to be super tough. And they're going to be one that's going to struggle because they play a lot of teams that are going to be really good. So, of course, I'm looking at this like, all right, Oklahoma does have a tough schedule. They're playing a lot of teams that had at least 10 wins this past season. I mean, you go from Alabama, Ole Miss, Missouri. Tennessee had a decent season, not as good as they wanted. But, of course, they now have a new quarterback, so things are going to change for them. Texas, you look at that list of teams. Oklahoma pretty much has a tough schedule in comparison to everyone else. And so when you see that, you're like, okay, yeah, Oklahoma's up there. They've got one of the toughest schedules, going into next season. And so, yeah, this makes sense for you to put that win total in. So then I was like, all right, what did they do for these teams that now have these high ratings from last year? What is the comparison that we have numbers-wise? So I looked at it. So I had to pull this up for you. This is what they had some of these teams that, we're talking about now for their win totals last season. I mean, of course, Georgia's up there and Bama, both of them going to get past 10. Tennessee was at 9.5. Didn't really, finish that out. LSU. But you had Ole Miss, you had Missouri, 7.5 and 6.5, and both of them surpassed that dramatically, right? In comparison, what makes me think that there's an accuracy when it comes to the Sooners. Now, yes, I could be a homer and say, yeah, I think that this is fully biased. They're just attacking it, blah, blah, blah. No, I get where the rating comes from. I get where they are saying the win total, because Oklahoma did lose a lot of production. Like, I think when you look at the rating, Bill Connelly dropped the production that's coming from Oklahoma and coming from other teams in college football. And Oklahoma's ranked in about the 60s. Let's pull this up. So returning production, you just see here, Bill Connelly has Oklahoma sitting at about 67th in college football and returning production, 111th ranked on offense, which is only 44% coming back. And then defensively, they're 8th with 79% of the production coming back. That's the thing that jumped out to me when I saw this number. I'm like, okay, what does Vegas, what does Fanduel, because I'm not going to say Vegas because we ain't got MGM and all of them yet. What is Fanduel seeing here that makes them say that Oklahoma, oh, they're going to be so much lower, but Ole Miss is going to be higher? Because Ole Miss is right next to them. They're bringing back 71% of their offensive production, which is 35th in the country, but only 52% of their defensive production, which puts them at 94%. That's a lot of production gone, right? So they're ranked one underneath at 68 of Oklahoma. Now, I guess the question is going to be the schedule, who they're playing against, who do we expect to be better in those games. Now, that I can totally get. There's a lot of breakdown to do that, and we'll do that in another video. I don't want this one to be too long, but when I look through what the production comparisons, yeah, man, we're going to make a video and talk about all the productions coming from the SEC, because I think this is something that's a great topic to dive into on the teams, and we'll make sure that that one's a good, fun one. But I want y'all to tell me, hop in the comments, let me know your thoughts. How y'all feel about Oklahoma being so low with the amount of production they have coming back, that their expectation is 7.5? Is that an over that you should hammer? Should we take the money? So I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead when I get to Vegas, I'm going to drop a bunch of money on top of the over a second time around, because I don't anticipate Oklahoma to fall to only 7 wins in the season. I definitely see more than that. If you made it this far, you like the content, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love for you to join this family of college football fans. Talk a lot of OU football, but we're mixing in college football in general, and we're having a good time as usual, right? So YouTube says check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it because I'm putting it together for you. And yeah, as you see, I'm traveling. We will have some more videos coming down the line. I'm back off vacation, but still working. Got to make this money so I can provide y'all with content. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have some content and stuff coming down the line over the next week. Please check out the Sooner or Later Sports Show YouTube channel. Hit that like button as well, subscribe. All the recruiting news is going to go there going forward. And we'd love for y'all to join us. We'll talk soon. Peace.